The old mansion had been abandoned for decades, its grandeur and beauty slowly being consumed by the passing of time. The once manicured lawns were overgrown, the sound of crickets and the rustling of leaves the only signs of life. As I stepped inside, a chill ran down my spine. The air was thick with dust and the stench of decay. I fumbled for my flashlight and turned it on, casting flickering shadows on the walls. I began to explore, my footsteps echoing off the walls. Every step creaked, every floorboard groaned. I felt like I was being watched, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. I entered a room that seemed frozen in time. A grand piano sat in the center, its keys yellowed with age. A music book lay open, the notes seemingly frozen in midair. But it was the photograph on the piano that caught my attention. A family smiled back at me, their faces happy and carefree. But as I looked closer, I noticed something strange. Each of their eyes was scratched out. Suddenly, I heard a faint melody. It was soft at first, but grew louder and more intense. The notes seemed to come from the piano itself, the keys moving on their own. I felt a presence behind me and turned to see a figure sitting at the piano, playing the melody with fingers that weren't quite human. The eyes that looked up at me were black as coal, and the smile that spread across its face was twisted and wrong. I tried to run, but my feet felt heavy, as if rooted to the spot. The music grew louder, more frantic, and I felt my heart racing in my chest. And then everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the floor, my head throbbing with pain. The music had stopped and the room was silent once more. But as I stumbled to my feet, I saw something that made my blood run cold. The photograph on the piano had changed. The family's faces were still smiling, but their eyes were no longer scratched out. Instead, they were black as coal, just like the figure's eyes. And I knew I was not alone in the mansion.